up and what's happening, TPE fam? We're back with a special episode of the TPE podcast. We're going to be talking with Allexus and Jarrett again. You guys might remember them a few weeks ago. They came on the show and they just killed it. And I just thought that it would be special if we spent some time around focusing on marriage and money. And those guys have taken that and just ran with it. They've created their own YouTube channel, Marriage, Money, and Mindset. And if you have an opportunity to go subscribe to Marriage, Money, and Mindset on YouTube, you can follow them on Instagram at Marriage, Money, and Mindset. And so I'm excited to be able to continue a conversation with Jarrett and Allexus that revolve around this idea of creating wealth, managing money while building the life that you want with your spouse. And so I am excited to introduce episode 1 of that series. This will act as a bonus episode to the TPE lineup. And so I can't wait for you guys to hear all of the nuggets that these two incredible individuals brought to the show. I know for a fact that I was blessed from it in terms of just some of the things that they talked about, some of the topics that we canvassed. And so I'm excited for you guys to hear what they have to say. And so without further ado, let's enjoy the episode. All right, what's up and what's happening, TPE family? I am back with some familiar faces and some familiar voices. You guys had to have seen this couple like online. I am on the call today with Marriage, Money, and Mindset. We got Allexus and Jarrett, JP. I'm gonna call him JP for the time being. We got those guys back on the show. When we first did our first show together, I think the energy was electric. I think the synergy was exactly where it needed to be. I really believed in and leaned into the things that these guys were talking about. And I just wanted to really chomp at the bit of having an opportunity to continue this content with them, to continue the conversations that we were having, because I believe the things that they're going to talk to us about today and before and going forward is going to help all you guys pivot into your next. And so I'm going to button up here and center the cameras on these guys because I want the world to hear everything that they have to talk about as it relates to marriage, money, and mindset. So let's give it up for Allexus and Jarrett. JP and Allexus, how y'all doing today?
We're doing good.
Good.
Good to be back. Thank you for having us back.
For sure. I had to because just Jarrett's energy, Jarrett's wisdom, Jarrett's mindset as it relates to money, and I enjoyed the pre-conversation that we had maybe a couple of weeks prior to that. And I've known, again, here we go, being a little redundant. I've known Jarrett in and out for a long time, and I just really love to hear what he's doing and how you guys are doing it as a couple, and how you guys have taken that mindset or taken what you guys have in the union and putting it out there for the world to hear. And so let's talk about first and foremost, how do we get to marriage, money, and mindset?
All right. So I'm Allexus again with Marriage, Money, and Mindset. And we basically, this is Jarrett. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This lady. Y'all know me by now. It's Jarrett. JP, like Alex called me. So you asked, how did we come up with marriage, money, and mindset? That was the question, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically, after, of course, the verse video that we did with you, that was actually the title of the video, right? So it just naturally fit for what we felt like the channel should be called. Those 3 tiers is what we want to discuss majority of and share with our audience and grow, and feel like we're pretty well versed within those 3 topics of discussion. So again, we just want to be resourceful and help people in those 3 arenas, and give as much wisdom as we can. So that's kind of how we came up with the idea of want to go ahead and create our own channel and grow an audience and do some other things down the road with.
So tell me this, and see, you guys are two episodes released. Don't know how many episodes are in the can. 1, don't know how many bloopers are in the can. 2, what has been the feeling and what has been the reception from you guys' audience so far?
The reception has been amazing. people have been reaching out to us left and right, saying they're proud of us, asking us different questions that they want answered sometime throughout the show. I mean, other people have been commenting and sharing, and we appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching and subscribing. Thank you, Alex. I know that we've said this before. We're going to continue to say it. We do appreciate you for having us on TPE, and also for giving us that push that we needed to get started with our own channel.
Well, I think that's what it's all about. I think just as people, we should be helping each other move towards closer to what our potentials are and what our passions are. I've already told you guys that I feel like y'all always have been well spoken. I think you guys are energetic. I think more importantly, I think it's not highlighted enough in our community is just the outward showing of you guys' love that exists between y'all, and to be able to weave those things together and then put it in front of the camera for other people to see, I think it's electric. And so I'm grateful to be a part of you guys' journey. I think at the end of this, I'm going to factor into being a very small piece of what you guys are going to accomplish in the long term with this channel, just based on what I don't think we've even peeled back the curtain even close to what you guys have to offer as far as the content is concerned, and not even just on my channel, but just what you guys are going to share on y'all's own. So before we dive in, let's plug that. What's the YouTube, what's the Instagram, how do we connect with, and then we're going to do this at the end too, but I want to kind of make sure we get this on the front end. How do people connect with Allexus and Jarrett with Marriage, Money, and Mindset?
Okay. So on YouTube, we're going to be Marriage, Money, and Mindset. Same thing on Instagram, Marriage, Money, and Mindset. Y'all go like, share, comment, and definitely subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm going to tell y'all to subscribe because, man, we got some things coming up that we want to do for y'all, right? It's for our subscribers. But in order for us to do what we want to do, we want to have a substantial amount, right? So just know that, guys, if y'all subscribe to this channel, you're going to be in for some opportunities that you may not have had you not subscribed to our channel. So definitely do that. Seriously, we got some nice things we want to do for y'all, for real. So subscribe right now.
and I just want to add to that, I truly feel like my partnership with you guys is the embodiment of iron sharpening iron. Like, just me watching y'all's content, I'm picking up on certain things. Like, y'all challenged me to upgrade my audio. I went and bought a new mic. I went and bought a mixer. I went and bought, because I'm like, all right, man, my mans came over here and said my lighting and my audio was trash. So let me figure out how can I enhance what I do. And don't feel bad about it. I've been doing this for a little bit of time, and I call this, I feel like the things in those areas were low effort for me. Like, I didn't put a lot of effort into it. And until you guys kind of challenged me to say, hey, upgrade here, upgrade there. So, I mean, I've listened to you guys. I hear like certain things in y'all's videos that I kind of want to emulate. So I've been it's been a joy watching the maturation of this whole deal. So as we kind of move on into the episode, we've kind of talked about some topics that we want to kind of canvas during our time. So the audience knows, I've got these guys for maybe a small window. Maybe they might hang on with me for like 3 months. Let me see. Yeah, I think I got them nailed down for about 3 months. Not nailed down, but once they out, they might not ever talk to me again. But for right now, we've got some things kind of plotted out, and today we want to talk about how we operate finances in our marriage, right? We want to talk about, and I think that's a basic, fundamental thing that causes a lot of calamity when it's not done right. That causes a lot of heartache, a lot of stress, a lot of problems when marriages do not focus and prioritize their finances. There's a lot of things we can do from the seat of our pants, but our finances shouldn't be one of them. And so I think you guys really preached on that. I think this is something that's very important to y'all. And so I want to kind of kick off this topic with something that may not be as popular to talk about, may not be the sexiest of things to bring to the table. But who calls the shots financially for you all? One, I'm gonna get JP, and again, here's the executive producer. I'm trying to do better with shorter questions. Okay, I'm trying to do better with shorter questions. So I'm going to go back and rephrase the question. I'm gonna try to make it as concise as possible. Okay, Here it is. Who calls the shots in your marriage financially? There we go. That's it.
Okay, so I believe in a marriage and in a relationship, period, whoever does something the best is who should take the lead on it. So in our marriage, he is very organized, and I think I'm pretty organized, but he is like organized to the 10th power. He can tell us how many cents are in each account. So he runs the finances in our marriage, to answer your question. And I think that's how other marriages should operate.
I mean, and when I say run, I mean, I just take the lead. Honestly, I feel like I share everything that we're doing. Like she's right there sitting by my side whenever I'm doing our finances for us. Like usually, I'll update it as the month goes. I like to update where we are, goals. The bills is just, I mean, I think I mentioned it on the last video that we did. It's not something that, I feel like it's just one of the things that we automatically do. We're more concerned with our goals, like as far as like making sure we hit our targets, making sure we, set our allocation for the month. If did we achieve it or did we not achieve it? Things like that. But as far as calling shots, I mean, we're a team. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I do it and I don't explain it to her. No, like I'm quarterback or I'm coaching it. You know what I'm saying? And she quarterback and whatever, however you want to play it. Like we're a unit, we're a team. And I like to share that with her because even though I kind of like take the lead, she could take the lead too if she wanted to. Like she understands the method of how we do that. And that's why I think it's important. I mean, it has to be in black and white where both partners can see what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
If something ever happens to one of us, the other one can keep that ball rolling.
Right. So, but yeah, it's not like I mean, I guess, to answer the question, yeah, I think I'm the most like dominant as far as like when it comes to our finance. But, like I said, she's sitting right there, sitting shotgun.
So I guess the follow-up question for me in that, not to be controversial here, but so you guys might be speaking from the end result standpoint, like as far as where you guys are now, like as far as like, how y'all, can you talk about in the beginning, how did you guys come to the realization that, hey, he's more responsible in this area, I'm going to defer to him. And then how did you, JP, and I'm sorry, 2-part question. How did you, JP, come to the realization that, hey, I need to make sure she's staying on board with me as we go through this process?
That's a question for her first, or
you can go first.
I tried. I tried. I'm trying. I tried. No, but either or, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so how did we come to that? Basically, it's been from the beginning. I know this is cliche. We said it the last time, but from the very beginning, we have been discussing finances, and it kind of just naturally fell in your lap.
Yeah.
How would you say?
Well, so it was around hurricane. It was in 2017. That was Harvey, right?
Yeah.
And so we were already pretty much on the verge of being engaged by then. And going into like right before the engagement, we were already pretty much unifying our expenses, income and expenses at that point to a degree. Not as, how it is. Yeah, exactly. Not how it is, of course, today being married, but you can tell we were on that trajectory to do our finances as one. And so it just, like she said, just kind of opened up, just happened naturally. And then, of course, the way we started it is pretty much how we still are doing it today. Like I was just like, hey, this is how I usually operate when I do mine. It was just a conversation. Like I was like, let me show you how I operate my finances. Do you operate your finances like this?
And I kind of did, but again, he's to the 10th power.
Yeah. And so, it just kind of, like I said, blended naturally. And then, I enjoy doing it, honestly, though, man. It's like something that I'm one of them people, man. I like to know. I like to be in control and manage my money or our money, obviously. But I'm saying like as far as like knowing what's coming in, what's going out. I've always been that way, and it's just like I get in somewhat of an enjoyment of doing it. You could have sworn I was like an accountant or something. you know. But yeah, that's pretty much and it's just important to do with your partner, man. I mean, I really don't understand how some couples that operate like that, they don't share what's going on with their spouse. Man, it's kind of like leaving one in the dark. They got to be right there by your side while y'all, that mean because it's both of y'all. It's all money in, all one bucket. Um, so how it's being allocated, needs to be discussed. It needs to be transparent. Everybody needs to be on the same page of what's going on. Especially with the goals part.
So I think you kind of led us into the next series of thought in terms of what are some of the pitfalls. Again, another two-parter here, and then Alexis, I'm gonna ask you this question. Okay, look at that. I'm trying on the fly this producing that you're doing here. Alexis, I ask you this question. What are some financial pitfalls? I mean, you've already said some. You guys kind of touched on some, but what are some financial pitfalls that you guys feel most married and to be married people make, and how can they avoid them?
I actually want you to take the lead on this one.
He asked you. He asked you.
Okay.
Come on.
I wasn't prepared.
Go ahead. Come on, you got it.
So basically, some of the pitfalls that I see is like being secretive. Or having shame. Like some people have shame attached to the debt that they have. Like they're coming into a relationship or a marriage with baggage. They see that debt as baggage. So I want to kind of keep that to myself. I don't want to be transparent with my finances or my spending habits. What would you say is another pitfall?
And see, that's like, I mean, I guess the thing about it, like, when you're deciding to be one, you want to like if your spouse isn't doing as well as you want to probably bring them up to being that on that level with you. Like if the credit score isn't as good as yours, hey, that's something we can work on. Let's work on that. If you have some debt, let's consolidate it. Let's get it eliminated or reduced or things like that. I mean, a pitfall to me like is just like anything that can be worked on. Let's work on it. Like I think if people are together and they feel like their finances are terrible, I mean, you got to share it with your spouse. You have to let your spouse know what's going on, so it's transparent. It's in again, black and white. And sometimes you got to lay it out on paper so you can see what's going on. Hopefully, somebody in the group has a little snap, and they can run some kind of play, even if it's not the right play. That's okay. You got some kind of play you're running.
And you're on the same page,
right? And then both parties can do it, as one, and they can, basically formulate their own play. Because it's no one size fits all way of doing finance. Everybody's unique. I feel like the way we do it works for us, right? It's not to say it will work for somebody else, but I mean, it's a great blueprint that we have as far as because it's been definitely growth, within our finances from day one. That's why I feel like it works. I mean, if we were in the same boat 7 years today as 7 years ago, or I'm sorry, 5 years ago, maybe our plan wouldn't be the best plan, So, and I also look at, finances as an offensive game, not a defensive game. And if you want to ask me about that here in a second, I'll give you my game on that.
No, I think you guys touched on several things that a lot of people don't talk about. I think Alexis, you bringing up that feeling of shame or guilt, in terms of that debt that you're bringing in, that baggage, is something that a lot of people don't talk about until I don't want to say it's too late, but It's almost overwhelming,
Right.
and then I guess I just to speak to something you said, JP, is like, even though your plan may not be the best plan for someone, I think everybody needs somewhere to start, number one, and I think everybody needs some level of mentorship. This is there's a few things that we all do, and finance, and fortunately, is something that we all do, married, not married. Just if you're living in America, you're dealing with some level of economy, period. And so I think that a lot of people, for the majority of people, they don't know where to start. They don't know what to look for. They don't know, a lot of things that you're saying is spot on. I mean, 100% of the stuff that I've heard from you guys in terms of a mindset or a sentiment has been always on point, because you guys are looking at the economy of yourself. A lot of us, we're worried about the businesses that we work for. We'll prioritize those financials over our own personal financials. And so you guys I think have done a beautiful job of prioritizing what your financial outlook is, and then assigning some of those same principles that you would use in a business in terms of that P&L formation and things like that. You've kind of taken those same things and applied it to your life. And so I think that's worth noting, and also just having an example of somebody that's doing it successfully. We hear people talk all the time that we can't touch and feel. You guys are our neighbors. You guys are around the corner. And so you guys are a real life example of people who don't live extravagantly. They might look at y'all's page and see how you travel and may have a misconception. But if they knew that you guys are working individuals, who just have a plan, that is executing the plan, and then really trusting the process, I think
Right.
that's incredible. And so, with that being said, so wait a minute, JP, talk to us about offense and defense. Can you
Yeah.
maybe designate some differentiation between what is financially offensive, versus being financially defensive? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Correct me if
No,
I'm wrong. Clean it up for me, but
yeah.
talk to us about that.
All right. So, like I said earlier, money is a game. Okay. Money is a game. Everybody's playing it to some degree. Right. Now, for me, you can't win the game simply playing defense. Right. Got to play offense. What's defense? Defense is, I want to pay off my debt. I want to pay off the mortgage. I want to reduce my credit card debt. Um, I'm trying to skin the cat down. That's the analogy I always use. You can only skin the cat so much, right? Before it's just no more fur on the cat. So, and then also reducing your expenses. That's what I mean by defense. Most people focus there. They want to reduce expense. That's finite, meaning you can only reduce your expense so much. There's still going to be expense associated with a home, even if you pay it off. You're talking about reducing or eliminating principal and interest payments only.
Mhm.
You still have taxes, you still have insurance, you still have upkeep, you still have utilities.
Mhm.
Those things never go away when you own a home, right? But guess what? Let's say if I just focus solely on offense, which is increasing my income, right? Increasing my income is infinite, meaning there's no cap on how high my income can go. That's offense. So when you think about it, if my home note with principal and interest, let's just call it, I don't know, $2,000 a month, right? I got a 30-year fixed rate, 2,000 a month. It may fluctuate with taxes and insurance annually. That's okay. But guess what? If I can find my way, if I can figure out a way to generate or purchase an asset that can pay me that $2,000 a month expense, am I still worried about that $2,000 expense? No, because I have something coming in that covers that expense, right?
And eventually.
And the same thing that goes with all of my expenses, right?
Mhm.
So let's say, okay, once I get something that covers that house note, hey, why can't it cover my transportation, my food, my travel, my lifestyle, basically?
Mhm.
And at that point, you don't even care what your expenses are. You just like, hey, I got enough assets that's coming in, bringing in passive income that can cover my expenses. and you just focus on increasing your lifestyle at that point. That's why I think, you know, and I don't get it. Like, I mean, I'm still paying off your house. It's a goal. If that's your goal, just understand what you're trying to do. You're only reducing the expense. You're not eliminating the expense, guys. And you're tying up a lot of equity
In your home.
and it's subject to what the market says is worth, not what you paid for it. Okay, this is just one example I'm using as a mortgage, right? I mean, that can go for a car as well. That's probably even worse though, because you're putting money into something that's depreciating in value. Same thing, you still got expense associated with it. You have insurance, gas, maintenance, you know. So focus on offense, not defense. I mean, I get it. You know, you want to. That's one of them old adages I think that was just handed down from generation to generations, and just pay off your debts and, you know, live frugally. And like, think about it, man. You pay off a car, you're not gonna keep that car for the rest of your life, like, especially if you're young. Same thing with homes.
Right.
I didn't just like where we at right now is probably like my fifth, sixth residence, you know, and I'm 36. I mean, I'm pretty sure even for you, Alex, how many homes have you been in? You see what I'm saying? Like, how many different cars have you had, right? So paying it off doesn't really make sense if you're gonna get another one later. It
True.
doesn't, like, it to me, you know. So, you know, and then, you know, if people that are principal paying down things, that's money you should be investing, putting that money to work. Like, if I got an extra $1,000 to put to my principal in my home, I'm gonna invest that in myself and get interest that way, because I'm locking up my equity by doing that. I'm putting equity in my home, and I'm retiring that equity.
Right.
Because if the idea is to be debt free, right, by paying off my home, that money is, think of that dollar as like a little, you know, worker. And he's on a hammock just relaxing, because he's not doing anything for you once he's in the form of equity. The only way you can access him is by a cash out refi, which you're not going to do because you want it to be debt free. Or you would have to sell the house to recapture that equity. But now you still got somewhere to live. So, I mean, so focus on offense. Like, I just think that's the best thing to do, because you can grow your income infinitely. There's no cap.
And what I was going to add to that is, whenever you focus on increasing your assets or your income versus decreasing your expenses, eventually your expenses are going to be paid off, but now you have an asset as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know if you guys have that as an episode, like,
stay tuned. Episode 3. Episode 3
on that, because I think I felt you going deep, and then you kind of pulled it back at the end. Because I was about to say, I said, hey, we about to scratch all the rest of this. I think this is going to take us on in to the end, because I think that's very well put, and I think that's the game that a lot of us do not know, that we don't think about. You know, because I transparently, I'm having a conversation about, you know, paying my house off or selling it, because when we bought it right before prices got wild, and we built it right before prices got wild, and so it's like, well, we got it grew, you know, considerably, when we can win off of that. You know, because you know, I'm looking maybe to do some different things later on down the road, but yeah, no, that to me, that helped me, and that's selfishly, guys. I mean, I'm here for me. You know, yeah, I'm here for the TPE audience. I'm here. I want to see you pivot into your next, and I want to see you do all the things. But really, I think the partnership here is I'm benefiting a lot just from you guys' company and you guys' wisdom. And so I sure hope you guys out there listening or hearing them. Where can we find y'all? 'Cause I think this is a great point to just pin that in there. Like, where, I mean, come on, give us some of that. Give us some of that ad. You know, give us that Instagram and that handle.
All right, so follow us, Marriage, Money, and Mindset, on YouTube and Instagram. The full words: Marriage, Money, and Mindset.
Subscribe, man. Come on. I need y'all to subscribe. Get your boys some subscribers, baby.
Yeah. So the last thing I'm going to say before we get out of here, the last question I'm going to have, and I know this kind of goes against a lot of things you say, JP, Because I know you often say, I ain't got the answer for you. I know what works for me, but I don't know what works for you. That's been like your running motto. But if you had to, and I'm sorry this is lengthy, but if you had to come up with one thing that you think every couple should have to start their financial journey, what would that be?
The one thing couples should have to start their financial journey is a plan towards investing for a future income out the gate, right? So if we're trying to get married, we want to spend the rest of our lives together. We don't want to work forever. At some point, like these bodies, man, they breaking down, man. They getting old. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm waking up now. My back got a little, something going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, and at some point, man, just that's just the body. The body ages, right? So at some point, guys, you're gonna want to not have to work anymore if you don't, especially if you're not physically able to anymore. You need an income. You still need income. You need to have a future monthly income. Uh, and also that income needs to have a way of hedging inflation. Because think about this. Here's another thing. I know people, or I know of people personally who, they've retired. Let's just call it a decade ago, right? 2013, and their expenses, their cost of living has already caught up to their fixed income 10 years later in their retirement. So you do need also a vehicle that also can hedge inflation, right? Inflation, it's a hidden tax. Okay. We're dealing with it right now in the country. You got the Fed constantly increasing the Fed fund rate. I mean, they just recently paused that last meeting, but man, we're at like 5.5%, I think, right now, which is pretty high from, if you look back in 2020, Fed fund was like at zero. That's a 550% increase where we are now. Um, that's to calm inflation back down, which it seems like it's been working. But everybody's feeling it, man. You 100 grand a day 10 years ago is not the same. Okay, right. So what can you expect in 2033, a decade from now? It's not going to be the same. Money is depreciating in value. So things that can hedge inflation, I can give you some tips. I'm not telling y'all to do this, but consider investing in rental real estate. That usually works. Real estate is a commodity. To build real estate, you need wood, you need concrete, you need glass. When those things go up in value in turn, 9 times out of 10, that causes that structure to go up. Yeah. Of course, it depends on what type of real estate we're talking about. Again, like I know, most residential real estate, single families are based on comps, but on average, the price of real estate increases, where it hedges inflation. That's just one example. But at the end of the day, I think, couples definitely need a plan. They need to sit down and ask themselves, hey, what's our plan for our later years? Like, how do we plan on having enough income coming in, by the way, that where we can maintain our current lifestyle or even better lifestyle, so that would be my advice,
And that plan may change. Our plan has changed plenty
since
our first plan.
Well, the plan is the same, just the strategy.
Right.
I think that's what she meant. The strategy
has changed.
Maybe has changed. Because as you're doing something, you start realizing a better way of doing it, right? So like our original plan, like especially with the stocks, man, we was all over the place doing terrible with it. It wasn't until I started really just like doing more educating and then simplifying it. Now we actually see real growth, real gains. We got problems with the IRS now. Not real problems. I'm just saying, like,
capital gains tax.
Capital gains. That's a learning curve too. Yeah. We had some pretty nice short term. Well, it was a blend. It was short and long, but majority was short term gains, short term capital gains. And the IRS showed us what was up with it. Yeah, but
Yeah,
anyway,
no, well, no,
yeah,
I mean, I think as we continue to learn, as we continue to grow in this area of finance, I think to your point, we can marry the vision, but flirt with the methods in which we execute that vision or make that vision come alive. And so, I want to first of all say thank you guys, so very much for spending time with us today on the TPE. I don't take for granted that I know you guys again. No one will really know what time we're recording, but we both know it's a little late for working folks to be doing this. But I think it speaks to our dedication and the grind to try to help people get better. This is not necessarily a money grab for any of us. This is more so just we want to help. And I hear the spirit of wanting to help that it just oozes from you guys. I think you guys articulated well, and I want to just say, like, I think the depth in which you guys are going to be able to take your audience in terms of them understanding finances from you guys' lens or y'all's point of view. And again, I'm gonna make sure I'm clear on saying this: we're not telling nobody what to do at all. This is the disclaimer. I'm gonna try to maybe put one on the front of this, but I know you guys aren't necessarily trying to advise anybody specifically to do what they want to what they should do with their money, but I think this is great things to at least think about. To these are I feel like you guys are going to spark conversations in homes that are much needed, that should have been had, and just going to you guys are going to impact future families to come, and I'm excited to be a part of that. Thank you guys for coming on tonight. TPE family, if you didn't hear something today that piques your interest about not only if you're married but if you're single, just what does that financial journey look like for you? Don't miss that, even if you're not married. I know these guys are speaking from a place of marriage, but this is also applicable to you as a single individual on this line. So I'm grateful for you guys. One more time, where can they find you?
yeah. So marriage, money, and mindset on YouTube. Marriage, money, and mindset on Instagram. Y'all be on the lookout. September 11th is episode 3. We got a good one for y'all guys. Make sure you don't want to miss this next one. Trust me, it's gonna be a real good one. So be on the
Yeah,
lookout.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, hey, TPE family, you know the deal. Until next time,
Take
peace.
with my love, my